So my name is Zarah Latifi. I'm 18. I'm a college student. I'm a full-time college student. And something I'm excited about today is that I work in a mental health job. So I'm gonna have a meeting today. So they're like mostly really excited because we're trying to build a project, and it's like we just began it. So we're talking about anxiety, depression, and everything. So I'm just excited to give more of my feedback and just talk about it more and build the project more time by time.
Very cool. Is that what you're studying too, like psychology, mental health?
I'm taking psychology classes, but that's not a part of my major. I'm majoring in business, but I'm trying to I'm still like freshman to like a sophomore year of
Yeah.
mine. And I'm still deciding on
Yeah.
where I want to settle in.
Yeah, you have so much time. It's totally okay to change your mind, but that's a very fun project. I hope it all goes well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to learn more about like that passion of yours. Um, but if you were to kind of tell me like a talent or a skill that you have that no one else knows about you, what would that be?
Um, no one else knows about me. That's definitely gonna be my handwriting.
Oh,
Because it's just like in United States, like we use a lot of like digital things. It's always like computer technology, like we don't really get the time to write down, and it's like not much of a notebook and a book in this generation as we go on. So that no one have seen my handwriting, but that's one of my talents that I no not a lot of people have noticed it until I write down.
oh wow. So you like do you do like calligraphy?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've did
that's
that. Yes.
cool. Ugh, I would love to learn, but that's a really cool talent to have because you can always do some fun designs with it. But that is a talent in this day and age. No one
Yeah.
writes anymore. We're only typing. Okay, perfect. Moving on. If you were to tell me like an accomplishment or a personal project that you have worked on in the past or are currently working on, what would that be and tell me why you're proud of it?
So, I was in foster care when I was a minor, and I went from placement to placement. So it was like a lot of moving for me as a minor, and that affected my high school. So the more I moved, the more like it will be a problem for my transcript and then for my graduation. So when I was moving schools, I was told by my counselor that I wouldn't be able to graduate as a senior, and I would have had to take another year of high school to graduate because I was moving a lot, and the transcript was messed up, like from every school, every district, every county. So it was like going a lot, and it was so stressful for me during that time because, as you know, once you turn 18 in the foster care, it's a lot of difficult because you have to move out, you can't be in the same house, and if I'm not going to my high school, there would have been a lot of problems for me back then.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started doing independent school. So I couldn't go to like the normal school because I was told you gotta study like more years. So
Yeah.
I was like, even when I went to my independent school, the teacher was like, you like when I went there, it was like I was gonna turn 18 like in 9 months, and the teacher was like, I don't think you're gonna be graduating when you turn 18. You might need to take a semester or something, then you can graduate. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen because I was a straight A student since the beginning. So I
Mhm.
was like, that's not gonna happen. So in independent studies school, I could have taken as many classes I could as long as I'm doing well in my studies. So
Okay.
I finished like 35 credits in 3 months, which
Wow.
students do like more than a semester, they take it. So
Yeah.
I did that. That's when it boosted up my speed. And I graduated right before I turned 18 and like 3 days before my birthday.
Oh
So I
my
tell people, so I'm like, I can fool people that I graduated when I was 17. So I did that, and I also, when I did that, I graduated as a junior, not as a senior, even though I took 2 years of classes in 9 months to graduate on time before I turned 18, basically. And then it's like my teacher was like, how did you do all these classes? Like, you need your teacher's permission to like open the classes for you. And I was like, why are you asking me? Like, I hacked your computer, or was I like opening the classes for myself, or what? It was you opening all the classes for me. But it was a really, really like I was at that time I was taking high school classes, I was taking college classes, I was
God.
doing anything possible to just graduate from high school on time because
Yeah.
I knew I had the ability. I knew that I could do it. I was like a plus A student, and then I was doing concurrent enrollment so that that could plus to my high school credits. So
Yeah.
that's one of my biggest achievement. Like I was so happy the day I graduated. Like I was like so happy. And then my sister comes and then she tells me, "Don't be that happy." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "When you get your permit test passed for your car, then that's the real happiness." And I was like, now she's freaking me out.
Did you end up getting it, your permit?
I'm working on it. Actually, I have the exam in 2 days.
Oh
So
my gosh, good luck. Well, that's an amazing accomplishment. The fact that you did that. I know that like the standard credit is like 18 to 22. So the fact
yeah,
that you did 34 is insane, but amazing for you. And I'm very glad that so you're now in college, right?
yes.
So where do you go?
I live in Stockton, California, so I go to Sigma King Delta College.
Oh,
I'm a
nice.
full-time student.
Do you like it? Are you enjoying
Oh,
that?
yes.
Good,
Yes.
good. Well, that's like a good segue to my next question. I know you mentioned you're studying business, but you have a passion for psychology and mental health. When I ask you to define education for me, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Just like in one word,
In like a word or a sentence, whatever.
I feel like education is success. So if I don't have education, I don't feel like I can get to a lot of places, even though if you see in the generation, the richest people they haven't went to college. But at the same time, I feel like they were raised in a family where they already had the money. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
us type of people where like I have not been raised in a family where I had a lot of money. So for that I need to go to college to get the degree to get somewhere, you know? So
Right.
for me education is success and it's knowledge, both
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Perfect answer. If do you have like a topic or a skill that you really wish was taught in schools that just isn't?
Oh, yes, definitely. I was thinking about that lately, so that's a good question for
Oh,
me.
good. Okay.
It is about taxes. They don't teach you how to fill out your tax. When
Yeah.
I turned 18 and I'm like, why have I never been taught in school how to fill out my tax? And now it's getting difficult for me and I need to ask around and I'm like, if this is so serious in the United States and we have to fill it, we should be taught about this. This should be like a mandatory class, like you should take it, otherwise you're not gonna pass high school. You know what I mean? Like teaching it at least a one or two classes how to fill out our taxes, which is never taught. And I'm struggling in it right now and I'm like, this is like crazy, you know?
No, I fully agree. I think that it should definitely be taught in high schools because when you go to college and you start working like an actual job that
Yeah.
requires you to file taxes, you're so right that it is such a big deal in America, but they don't teach us that. Like if we don't pay enough in taxes, then we get in trouble. If
Yes.
it's a whole big thing, then teach me.
And it's so serious because you can even go to jail if you don't pay it. Even though if you're like, oh, I don't even know what am I doing. Even if you're lost, nobody's gonna like care. You know, they're gonna be like, you gotta pay. You gotta pay what you did. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, you know, I don't even know how to pay it. So yeah. And then I was looking forward to get into a course which is like a free course. You get certified.
Oh,
After that, you can pay your own tax and you can help others and volunteer to help them pay their tax. You know. So I was looking forward for that and I was like, I can help myself and I can help my community to do that, you know? Because a lot of people don't do that nowadays. So I'm like, this is something serious.
yes. No, that you should definitely look into that. That's a very, very good
Yeah.
program. Okay, perfect. Moving on. Tell me about someone that you feel like has really left a large impact on your life and why.
I would say my older sister because it was like me going through the system, like the foster care. It was like a lot of like struggles, a lot of like trauma, a lot of things like going on in my life. And I feel like she was like the biggest support, like my backbone, like keeping me going on, supporting me in all situations. Like even when I turned 18, like supporting me through school, the resources I have and everything, helping me with my studying the driver's classes and everything else. So I'm like, she's the one of the person that till I'm gonna die, gonna be like the most person that's gonna support
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Was she also in foster care with you, or was she?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a good thing. You guys were able to stay together in the
Yeah.
system. Oh, that's
Well, we were for a short amount of time, but then we were separated too. So
oh,
it's like, yeah. But still, like, from the distance, we would still, like, talk to each other,
okay.
you know?
Good. So nothing like different cities, like different.
No.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Um, Tell me about a cause or like a social issue that you're really passionate about and why.
I would say it would be around foster care because I do like a lot of volunteer work. So I do work with an organization for foster youths. And it's not a perfect system. It is a lot, like, it's so messed up, and a lot of things happen to youths that it shouldn't actually. It should be the opposite. It should be a safe space for them, but it's not really a safe space for them. So I work with an organization called California Youth Connection, which is a youth led organization that advocates for foster youths to make the system better and change policies. So I'm a member there. I also went to Washington D.C. last year to the Capitol to talk to the legislators and policymakers straight to them. I did a presentation there talking about what we want to improve in California, and there was like other organization throughout the California that was advocating for foster care. So that was a good experience too, and that's something like a social issue that I want to change. What is going on like in the foster care for me?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Is that what you want to do like long term? Like in
I
your
think so because lately when I started working in this field, I just felt myself that I'm in so much into like policy changing, you know? And one path that I wanted to always choose was like to become a lawyer. And just like people tell me you're so good at advocating, you're so good at arguing, so it's kind of a good field for you to be a lawyer because that's basically their job, like arguing and advocating for their clients, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely look into it. Definitely. Okay, my kind of last question is tell me about a challenge that you've really had to go through within your life and how has that shaped you to who I'm speaking to today?
A challenge would be entering the foster care. That shaped me a lot because when I entered, I did not even know what world was
Yeah.
because it was like when I was with my parents, they wouldn't like my biological parents, they wouldn't like let me go out, so I didn't even know what world was.
Oh, wow.
Like I didn't even know, like I don't even know how to swim. I don't even know how to ride a bike. So it's like there was like when I entered the system, there was like completely like a change of like 180 for me. You know, it was like I don't even know what is world. I got to know what is world. I entered the system. Even like entering the system was not a good experience for me because I have witnessed a lot of bad things. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it in this interview because I don't want to like trigger you or something, but
No.
it's like a lot of things like people attending suicide in front of my eyes, you know? So it's like I saw paramedics, I saw cops. So it's like a lot of like I have witnessed a lot of like intense things that have really shaped me who I am today because I was like just like every other you sitting in the corner not talking just silent, but witnessing all of these things just have showed me like a lot of youths are just quiet, and I learned how to advocate for myself. And I think how I am today, these experiences have shaped me how to be today, you know?
Yeah. Do you do anything with I know cuz I know you mentioned that you also like you work in an organization where you like assist the foster youth.
Yes.
You do any programs that kind of like teach them what you learned in terms of like advocating for yourself?
Yeah, so I'm in a cohort program right now, and then we also have like regional meetings. So it's like in the regional I work in is like Central Valley, and then we have like California meetings. So in the Central Valley meetings, I tell youth what I did, and we teach them, and we talk about issues, and we talk about what we need to change. If like if you're in a house, if the foster parent is like feeding you up, if you're in a safe space, if you have private space, and all of those questions we ask them just to make it like better for them because it's like they're paid to keep them. You know, it's like the reality. Like the foster parents are paid, so if you're paid, do your job. It's not like you're doing it voluntarily. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're just not using that money, and that's what's like an issue going on for us working towards that. If we're paying you, we want to see the work for how much we're paying you, basically.
Right, right, right. If you were like if your younger self could have been given a piece of advice that would have really helped you, what do you feel like that advice would have been?
The advice would have been um patient and waiting is really important,
Mm, right.
which I was like really, really desperate. But the more I grow up, it's like having patience and just waiting is really good because eventually you're gonna get what you want, but there's situations where your hands are tied up and it's not always in your hand what you want to gain, and you just
Right.
need to wait for it.
I appreciate that you were able to be as open as possible. But I hope that this wasn't like an uncomfortable process. I hope
Oh
that you
no, I feel like sometimes it's good to once in a while to take it off my shoulder.
good.
So yeah, and basically the purpose of this interview is storyteller, storytelling. So basically, um, but yeah, I feel like that's the piece of advice, and I think I wanted to say something else too.
Go ahead.
Um, I think like just being in the system, that's when I realize it because like when you have social workers, it's like you as a minor, you don't have really any voice. So then they don't really listen to you. They're like, oh, she's just a minor, like we're the adults, we decided what we want to do and don't want to do. And that's another when I really learned it like having patience and waiting is really important. And when I turned 18, I was like, now I understand like why as a minor they wouldn't listen to me, and now I have the power to speak for myself.
Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!